Welcome back to another episode of Vlogmas. We are actually about to do, I want to say a devotional, but it's really not a devotional. I have just officially wrapped up First Samuel, the book of First Samuel, and girl, it's juicy. Yeah, we're just going to do like a little Bible recap, Bible stories. But yeah, Saul fumbled the bag. Saul fumbled the bag. Not only did he fumble the bag, but he got to watch somebody else go pick up the bag, run in, score a touchdown with the bag, and then go on to become like the MVP, the greatest of all time. All because Saul fumbled the bag, child. We in First Samuel, and there's a king named Saul, right? And Saul is tall, handsome, and young, and he's a new king, right? So let me just set the scene. So this is post Moses. This is post let my people go. This is post slavery in Egyptian. Like the Israelites have escaped slavery. They have traveled. They have finally made it to their home in Israel, which is supposed to be the land of milk and honey. So they're finally at home. But when they get there, they're like, we don't have Moses any longer. So Moses passed away. They don't have Moses any longer. And so now they don't have a leader, and they need a leader because these folks will walk in circles, okay? So they need a leader. And so back in the day, they couldn't just ask God for a leader. People couldn't just go to God and speak to God. They actually had to, the only way they could hear from God is through prophets. And so, or prophets or dreams. And so there was a OG prophet named Samuel. And so they went to Samuel and they was like, Samuel, we need a king because Moses ain't here to tell us what to do. We don't know how to govern. We don't know how to, talk to God. We don't even know what to do in case of war. We need somebody to lead us. And so Prophet Samuel goes on, petitions to God, and God is like, all right, I'll give him a king. So that's how we got King Saul. Two things I learned in First Samuel. First thing I learned is that God keeps his promises, right? He keeps his promises, he keeps the good ones, and he keeps the bad promises. So if he gives you a good promise, trust me, it's going to be kept. But if he give you a bad promise, that one's going to be kept too. The second thing that I'm learning is that God is going to have his way, okay? His will be done. He will have his way. If you decide to hop on board or not, he's going to have his way. And so here we are. We got King Saul. And King Saul, one thing I've learned about King Saul is that boy ain't got no patience. He got the patience of a 4-year-old, the patience of Logan. I be asking Logan why she can't be patient, and she just said it take too long. That's what King Saul was on. So one day King Saul needed an answer to a problem. He didn't know how to move forward with this particular problem. I'll tell you what the problem is in a minute. But he didn't really know how to move forward with this particular problem. And remember, I told you the only way they could hear from God is through a prophet. And so OG prophet Samuel, child, he wasn't nowhere to be found. And so here we are. Saul is impatient. He doesn't have an answer to his problem. He is now in panic mode. He's pacing back and forth. He's stressed out. He can't find Prophet Samuel. He's nowhere to be found. And so King Saul goes into desperation mode. And so what does he do? Builds an altar, grabs his crystals, and burns some sage. All because he was impatiently waiting for Samuel to deliver a message from God. And so finally, I don't know what happened with Samuel. I don't know if he slept in that day or his donkey I guess they can't catch a flat. His donkey, I don't know, lost a shoe. I don't know. But he didn't make it on time, but he finally rode in. And when he rode in, he was like, bro, what are you doing? That's not how we do things. You want a message from God? I'll give you a message from God. So God sends him a message. And before I tell you what the message is, I feel like I have to say that whether Saul hopped on board with this message or not, God's will was still going to be done. So there was a group of people called the Amalekites. And the Amalekites, God promised way back in Exodus, God had promised that he was going to wipe these Amalekites off the face of the planet. And the reason he promised that is because they had disrespected Israel. And so at first I kind of felt bad because God said, I don't want you to leave a wife, a child. I don't want you to leave a cattle. I don't want you to leave a lamb. I don't want you to leave a servant. I don't want you to leave anybody. When I tell you I want you to wipe these people off the face of the earth, I'm including their children and their infants as well. And initially I was like, dang, my God, why would you do that to the little bitty babies and the infant children's? But I ain't questioning God. And if God say them people had to go, then them people had to go. The thing about it is God had promised that he was going to wipe these people off way back in the book of Exodus. Here we are, fast forward to the book of 1 Samuel, and now God is using King Saul as a vessel to wipe these people off the face of the planet. And so Samuel delivers this message to Saul. Samuel's like, yo, God told me the only thing he wants you to do, he wants you to kill them all. He said, don't leave an infant, don't leave a baby, don't leave a cattle, don't leave anybody. Just kill them all. And so Saul was like, okay, cool. That's the message I was waiting on. Okay, let's go do it. So this is where Saul fluffs it up. This is where he fumbles the bag. Instead of obeying God and doing exactly what God said to wipe these people out. It ain't none of your business why. Just wipe the folks out, okay? So he does attack the Amalekites, but instead of wiping them out like God said, he decides, after looking around, he was like, these are some perfectly good cattle. Why would I wipe out these cattle? I'm gonna take these cattle back home with me. These are some perfectly good women. Why would I kill these women? I'm gonna take these women home with me. He even so much took the king and held him as a servant, a hostage for himself. And what he do that for? So Saul has now officially disobeyed God because he did not do the one thing God asked him to do. That was kill them all. One, he disobeyed God. But two, after his victory, he goes to the top of Mount Carmel and built a monument in honor of himself. So not only did he disobey God by not wiping out all of those people, but he also took full credit for that victory. So all while this is happening, God is now looking for a replacement to Saul. So Saul is about to get replaced. You disobey God, you got to get up on out of here. And so now God has now like laid favor over this young man named David. And y'all know David from David and Goliath. And so God kind of just like anoints David. And David is now slaying giants, winning wars, winning the people over. He's tall, he's handsome, he's charming. So much to the point that the people in the city, they start chanting his name. They love David. David is their favorite. David has now a lot of favor. And so this makes King Saul super jealous because King Saul at one point had this favor. King Saul was the favorite. They used to chant King Saul's name, but now they're chanting David's name, and that pissed King Saul off. And so now King Saul's ready to off David. So that was chapter 15. Now we're about to skip ahead to chapter 28. So in chapter 28, prophet, remember OG prophet, that's how everybody got their messages from the Lord. OG prophet Samuel he dies, okay? Samuel dies in peace, honey. Samuel said, I did what I was supposed to do. I'm old in age. I did what I was supposed to do. Y'all leave me alone. Let me die in peace. And now King Saul is in shambles because that was the only way that he was able to hear from God. King Saul only heard from God through Prophet Samuel. Prophet Samuel has now died. King Saul, the one that's impatient, bruh, he is in straight panic mode because now he has enemies. Now he's in the middle of a war. Now he goes to battle every other day and he needs answers and peace. And so now he's in straight up panic mode. Dude is like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Samuel's not here to tell me what to do. God doesn't listen or talk to me. I can't see him in my dreams. I can't hear him in my dreams. Then he get this bright idea. I'm going to go to a medium. Y'all know what a medium is, right? A medium is the person who talks to the dead people. He's, I'm going to go to a medium, and then I'm going to ask Samuel what I'm supposed to do. So back then, all the mediums and the spiritists, I think that's what they call them, they were banned. King Saul actually banned them. So he had to go all the way outside of the city limits. He also had to dress up like a peasant so that he could go outside the city limits to find this medium so that he can find somebody to talk to Samuel so Samuel could tell him what to do, because this boy is impatient. He makes it outside the city limits and he finds this medium girl. And she immediately was like, I can't talk to the dead anymore because all mediums and spiritists have been banned. You know that. The king said that. It's an order. We have been banned. And so King Saul, who is now dressed up like a peasant and in straight up costume, he says, no, you won't. I promise. I promise nothing's going to happen to you. I just need you to talk to somebody for me. And then the lady was like, okay, who you want me to talk to? And he said, Prophet Samuel. As soon as he said Prophet Samuel, the lady screamed because she was like, I know who you are. You are King Saul. You ain't finna come up here and trick me and kill me. And Saul was like, no, 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 no. I promise it's gonna be okay. I'm here on official business or unofficial business, and I need you to talk to him for me because I need some answers. So she done conjured up Prophet Samuel's spirit. I don't know what they do. I don't know how they do it. But she ends up getting in contact with Prophet Samuel. And the first thing Prophet Samuel says was, damn, I was supposed to be resting in peace. Why are you disturbing me? And King Saul was like, bruh, you left me. I have no answers. God ain't hearing from me. I don't know what to do. These people are on my back. I'm about to be attacked. The Philistines are coming for my neck. I need help. Where are you? Why did you leave me? I need answers. And dead Prophet Samuel said, listen, by tomorrow, you're going to be up here with me. Prophet Samuel said, boy, it's over for you. He also said that God is just fulfilling his promises. He promised that he was going to replace you after you disobeyed him the first time. He's replacing you with your neighbor, David. So if you know anything about the Bible, you know that King David goes on to be one of the greatest kings in history. He wasn't he wasn't a perfect person though, by any means, but he did what he was supposed to do. He obeyed God and he didn't put anybody before God, including himself. And that's the complete opposite of King Saul. King Saul disobeyed God, and then King Saul put himself above God. And so King Saul had the favor. King Saul was supposed to be great like David, but because he disobeyed God and put himself before God, King Saul lost all his favor, and he got to watch. He got to witness as David received favor, blessings, and he'll go down in history as one of Israel's greatest king. But remember, that was who Saul was supposed to be. So Saul lost his favor, fumbled the bag, and had to watch as that favor was passed on to David. And David goes on to be the greatest of all time. So this happened to me recently. I found myself in King Saul's shoes, where I disobeyed God, and I ended up, I truly feel like this story was for me. I disobeyed God and I ended up losing favor. So long story short, God told me to share something with my social media audience a while ago. He told me to share it. Plain as day, I knew exactly what I was supposed to say. I knew what the topic was. I knew what the support for the topic was. All I had to do was just relay the message. Same way, all Saul had to do was just carry out what God told him to do. And so I decided that since it wasn't on brand, I also decided that since it was kind of a controversial topic and it could be offensive, I decided that I wasn't going to share it. I decided to keep it to myself and the message that I received from God, and I decided that I was not going to share it. One, I didn't want to offend anybody, and then two, I didn't want to lose followers or people to like unfollow me behind it, but also I didn't want to lose clients. I knew that what I was about to say was going to offend some people who I work with closely. And so I didn't want to offend anybody, and so I just kept the message to myself. Well, fast forward, I saw somebody, I got to witness somebody. The same way Saul witnessed David receive favor, I got to witness somebody carry out that same thing that I was supposed to do. And not only did I witness them do it, I also witnessed the favor that they received after doing it. I witnessed the success that they received after doing it. I also witnessed the blessings that they received after doing what I was supposed to do months ago. God literally gave that same message to somebody else, and I saw it. I feel like it's not about our timeline. I don't think it's about our comfort or even like our understanding. It's about trusting Him and doing what He says when He says it. So Saul's story is a reminder that when we choose disobedience, we're not just missing out on God's blessing. We're also making room for someone else to receive the favor that was intended for us. Here's my challenge to you and my challenge to myself. What is God trying to tell us to do? What is God telling you to do? What is something that you're hesitating on and you know that God has put it on your heart to do it? Whatever it is, we got to do it, because I ain't trying to end up like Saul again. And sometimes it's not even about us. Sometimes it's just about us being obedient and letting him use us as a vessel to touch somebody else, to reach somebody else, so that somebody else can see him. God's plan is, first off, his will happen regardless if we decide to hop on board or not. His will is going to happen. But his plan is just so much bigger and better and grander and far beyond anything that we could ever imagine. So we're not going to let fear, we're not going to let pride, we're not going to let doubt rob us of the favor that we're supposed to have. 1 Samuel was really good. I hope y'all stayed with me. So if this message spoke to you, drop it in the comments. Let's continue the conversation in the comments. And then I want y'all to go crack open y'all Bible. Go to 1 Samuel and read it for yourself. It's really good. And then let me know if y'all read 2 Samuel. I think I'm going to read that one next. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.